Hey everybody, and welcome to a new CP short. This is another What We Are Reading. It has been quite a while since we got one of these out. It's been a busy fall with UWL football and everything else going on, but we finally have gotten back to getting some reading done. So without further ado, the book we're covering on this version of the What We Are Reading is Eat Fat, Get Thin by Dr. Mark Hyman. We've highlighted a lot of his stuff before. He is a very interesting character, but also very smart. He runs the functional medicine department at the Cleveland Clinic, who was actually the developer of that, which is saying something for a clinic of that prestige. He has also had some other books that were really good that we recommend checking out, like Ultra Prevention, which is all about healing yourself without having the need to just go on to strictly prescription medications. So this book was, again, kind of a reminder and an eye-opener for me reading it, but it just helped reaffirm a lot of things around fat and the word and what its connotations are, and just kind of did a really good job of breaking it all down. We recommend it. It has a plan in there of kind of almost somewhat of a detox without trying to make too much connotation around that word, but lots of recipes, lots of really good-looking recipes we're looking forward to trying. But to get into some of the highlights, some of the things, that I think get confused is, the fat you eat is not what becomes the fat in your body. It's not a direct correlation. So if you go and you eat a bunch of fat during your day, it's not going to sit there and just immediately go into your fat stores. That's not how digestion works. That's not how the metabolism works. It's just not that easy and simple, in quotes. And with that, don't always judge a fat by its cover. He talked about nutritionism, which I thought was a really interesting point that I had never really heard of. But you can't sit and look at something and go, oh, it has a ton of saturated fat here, or it has a lot of this and a lot of that, and not take into context the rest of the food. You can't just break it down into one part and say, that's it. Like, that's what we're going to base it off of. That's making it too simplified when it comes to trying to utilize this kind of quote-unquote diet plan, to get your body to start making significant changes. It doesn't have to take weeks or months or even years to get those things to start. It can take days if you just can clean up and reduce down the things that you don't really need in your diet to produce energy. And that's where he gets into, and I think he had one of the best descriptions I've seen and simplified of losing weight. It's not just about losing weight, and he doesn't preach that. What he's trying to teach is how to get healthy, not just, here's a diet and a weight loss plan. He has that come secondary to what he is trying to teach everybody, in that he wants you to get healthy, and with that, the weight loss and the body composition typically comes along with it. That also goes into his talk about metabolism and how it isn't just as simple as a math equation. The calories in versus calories out is not a bad place to start. We've talked about that before. We like it as an area to kind of get yourself started, but none of that means anything if you don't have a well-balanced diet around it, and your body just doesn't respond the same to different things that you put into your body. Eating the calories that are in an avocado, which will be really high, is not the same as eating those calories from multiple donuts. Your body will respond different. It's going to break down those things differently, and you're going to get a different response. So you can't necessarily just count that in as calories in versus calories out, because one may go and actually cause you to store away fat, and that's typically when you have an excess of carbs and sugar in your diet. Whereas fat can actually go and speed up your metabolism. It can help reduce your hunger and actually stimulate burning the body fat that you have by consuming more of it. He also does a really good job of breaking down there's a difference between all the fats, which seems very obvious, but when it comes to the omegas, it can get a little confusing. Just slamming in as many omegas as you can isn't quite that simple, because it does come down to omega-6 versus omega-3, and we tend to be very high on the omega-6 level, which is not always great. We can actually overdo it pretty easily in our diet, where we need actually more omega-3s, which are really going to be the things that help us out in the long run and preventing heart disease, helping clean out blood vessels, health for your joints. You can always do a lot more to help you there. And so that was, another big point in there is really getting the breakdown on that. He does a great job of talking about coconut oil, which has been a very hot topic in the world today, olive oil and what its benefits and uses are, and then also looking at MCTs or medium chain triglycerides, because that is also another topic that has gotten a lot of attention over the past couple of years. So kind of to sum all this up, he really came back around and talking about looking at trying to get your body to respond and, improve and kind of get going on the upswing again. Is, you got to make sure we're looking at the underlying causes of why these things are happening. We can't sit here and constantly try to repair something in a crash diet and then have it come back and then try it again and then everything comes back. He used the analogy of doing something like that. It's like trying to mop up the water that's coming out of an overflowing sink and not actually just turning the water off. So his point was is we got to go back, look at the things we can control on the very, very basic level to start getting your body to actually get through the recovery process in order to get healthy and be able to help improve your life and, get blood markers back to normal. So with all of this, this is just what we're reading. It was a very interesting book. We highly suggest it. But if you're going to go into something like this, talk with your doctor. Sometimes that can be difficult. He has a bunch of free resources in there that is off his Eat Fat Get Thin webpage on how to talk to your doctor about something like this, because not everybody is on the same page or has even gone through some of these philosophies. So be sure to definitely check that out. If you decide to go to the book, we'll have a link to it in the description, and so please feel free to check that out. We'll also get that up on the website and all the different social media posts. With that, our partners at Paragon Nutrition have their own extra option when it comes to controlling inflammation in your life, and that is called Flame Off. It is a supplement that can help jumpstart your anti-inflammatory processes, help just get your body where it needs to be. If it's something that you might struggle with to get all the things in your diet that you need, this might be a good addition to it. So check that out at paragonfn.com. When you check out, use promo code CP15 to get 15% off. Help support us, help support them, and you're getting one of the best quality products that you can with that. Along with that, check out a new clinically Paragon discussion coming up, hopefully early next week after this is released on the 29th of November. So be sure to check that out, and happy reading.